Hello everybody and welcome back to Nathan Adams Cars. I am on the way to meet a friend of mine who's willing to let me drive and do a review on his Volkswagen Golf R. All right, here it is, the 2017 Golf R. This is the 7th generation of the Golf. Came out in 2015, if my sources are correct. This particular one has been modified a bit, but those are the stock wheels and brakes, and it looks awesome like that, I think. I love a capable car. The theme in my videos is always a fun car that is also practical. And the owner in this particular car has these subtle badges that some people might not understand, the APR aftermarket badges. Again, like I said, those are stock wheels up front. They're nice and big, just like those brakes, which really help out with the handling. And again, that APR badge out back. APR is a brand of aftermarket parts that, Volkswagen and Audi owners might opt to go for, and they work out well. Back to the practical theme in the back, because this is a hot hatch, it's a hatchback, you have a lot of space for stuff. In this case, the owner I met with this car is a snowboarder, so he has that rack on the top and just more space inside the car. So that practicality is really impressive. Now moving into the interior, you're going to notice that this is a very nice place to be. You can tell it's kind of like a luxury car. It does compete with the Audi S3, which is about $60,000, almost $20,000 more than this car. And this car stands up to that competition well, I'd say, with that nice, just all the nice materials. I mean, look at it. I don't really know how to say it because looks are subjective, but the materials are nice. It feels nice. I enjoy being in there. And it's always nice to be complimented, to have that complemented with the nice software inside with those screens that don't lag. And they also show you these performance monitor gauges, like the PSI for the turbos and even the G sensors. This Golf R is equipped with the dynamic chassis control system, which is nice because you can electronically control how the dampers are going to react to the driving conditions and all of that. So you can change it based on where you are, and you can even customize it with all these individual settings. That's a really nice option to have. Looking down, you'll see this DSG 7-speed dual clutch transmission, and that's a big plus, especially when you're comparing this car to some of its competition, other hot hatches out there, and in this price range. To get that is very nice, and it helps because this car has 292 horsepower up front. This particular one has more than that. I did mention he did a stage 1 tune. He mentioned to me some of the modifications they made with the intake there and with the turbo inlets and all that stuff. That is really cool. You're going to hear some of the results of those modifications he did later on. You're going to see them and hear them. And I hope you enjoy that because I certainly did. It was very fun. So that's the engine there. Let's go ahead and look at the launch. All right, everyone, that has been an overview of the styling and some of the interior pieces of the car, and that launch was pretty crazy, right? I love the sound of the turbos when he's coming back. That was amazing. This car sounds really nice, and I didn't tell you much about the modifications, but what he told me was it was a stage 1 tune, and also some of the ECU tuning was done and the TCU as well. So the transmission mapping is different, and the engine horsepower at the crank was up to 380. He said he got it to 340 at the wheels. So it was pretty insane because that car makes 292 horsepower as it comes from the factory. This one made almost 100 more than that. And you could tell. But what I really wanted to talk about was the handling and how it puts that power down, because that's a big struggle nowadays. I feel like with the different applications that manufacturers are going with, especially with front wheel drive, you have to figure out, like a car like this, it has a transverse mounted 4-cylinder engine. It has a transaxle, it has all the steering components and everything going in there. So then to have a real limited slip differential up front and all-wheel drive components is not very feasible. So what this car does, it simulates an LSD, a limited slip differential, in both the front and the rear axles, using basically braking, and it can sense everything for each wheel. So it'll brake the inside wheel to slow it down and allow those outside wheels to push and help you rotate around the turns. So, unfortunately, I didn't get many clips of me driving, but I got some of the important things, just like how this car puts the power down in a straight line, but also how it kind of goes around those turns. So check that out. I'm not going to go too crazy with all these cars around, but... Wow. That was like half throttle, powering around the turn, and there's no push at all.
Yeah.
Even with too much horsepower. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes it almost feels like too much in this car, but...
Right. Is it in sport mode now?
Yeah. It's in race mode.
Wow. Wow. And the transmission is, you can tell the mapping is way different.
Yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
And it shows you what gear it's in,
Right.
which like it doesn't normally show you when you're just in drive.
Right.
Without the...
Oh, and the steering is
tune.
really precise.
Yeah, when you turn on race mode, it's like...
Yeah.
You can spin on a dime.
It's immediate. All right, everybody. So that concludes the review of the 2017 Golf R. At least that concludes the shots that I've taken of the car with me driving it and the outside looks of it. It's a really subdued outside exterior styling on that car, and it really looks nice in my opinion. I like the way it looks because if somebody comes up to it, it's kind of an unassuming, you know, really nice, quick car, and people don't really know enough about it, and the general population anyway. I'm sure a lot of people will see that R badge right up front and really know what that car is capable of, but that particular car is extra capable because the owner has gone in and done some really nice tweaks. He has changed the engine tuning and has bumped the horsepower up nearly 100 horsepower, and he has also changed the transmission to follow suit with that. So it overall is just a brilliant driving car. I really had a lot of fun, and I can't say thank you enough to the owner for allowing me to drive it. What I love most about that car, whether it's the stock one or this modified one, is just the drivability of it, I guess the usability. Overall, it's a really nice car because you can take it everywhere. It has a hatchback and it has some space in the back. The owner does have some kids he could throw in the back and he can really have a daily usable car that is very much thrilling to drive. I see all these different car commercials and marketing campaigns that talk about a thrilling experience, but in this car it is legitimately thrilling. So I really wanted to thank him again and just tell you guys how much fun it was driving that car. You can see with the launch and everything like that how capable this car is. But one of the things that I really like the most about the driving of it is just how going around turns, it doesn't push. It doesn't have that front wheel drive transverse engine typical feel of where it's pushing when you're accelerating. This car really is able to rotate and point its nose into the turn, and it just makes you feel so capable. It's really a nicely balanced car, and I have to say I enjoyed it so much. Even the other video I did with the very powerful Camaro ZL1, this car was, I guess, more attainable because I could put the power down. I mean, that car obviously has more power than Camaro, but it was in the winter time and it has summer tires and it's not usable like this car is every single day. So I had a lot of fun. I'm thinking what I'm going to drive next now. If I were to buy a car, one that you can modify with slight upgrades like that, you know, the Golf R is a very good candidate. So anyway, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks again. See you next time.